why you guys are studying to get the job, and when you will get job there would be someone who would be doing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to study the chapter number 6 from our business studies book from class 12 standard, which is staffing. It is a very cute chapter, and let's begin with this video today. Okay, so here we can read the meaning. Staffing means putting people to jobs. Basically, you are studying. Why you guys are studying? To get the job, and when you will get job, there would be someone who would be doing the staffing. It means if you are correct person for that job, then your staffing would be done. Okay, staffing means putting people to job. It begins with human resource planning and includes different other functions like recruitment, selection, training, development, promotion, and performance appraisal to workforce. So we are going to study about everything in detail in this chapter. It is not a very big chapter, it's a pretty small chapter to be honest. The need and importance of staffing. Now we have to study the need and importance of staffing. So in total there are 5 need importance, and okay wait, it's not just need importance, it is also, I have this book here with me, importance, need, benefits, and advantages of staffing. If anything is asked out of these 4 things, you have to write these 5 points. You have to study these 5 points. The first is obtaining competent personnel, or filling the roles by obtaining competent personnel. If you are referring to Poonam Gandhi, filling the roles by obtaining competent personnel would be given to you. It is nothing. It is simply It is nothing but proper staffing helps in discovering and obtaining competent personnel for various jobs. Basically, for example, if you are studying commerce, okay, so you would be definitely you would be specialized in accounting and the basic calculations and all these sort of areas. So if this is job where you have to do these kind of calculations and all, and a person who has studied this and a person who has studied biology would be there, so who would be more competent? Of course you would be more competent because you have studied and you're qualified in these subjects, so you would be a better choice. So here basically finding a perfect person for the perfect job. Then high performance. Proper staffing ensures higher performance by putting right person on the right team. Of course, if you are specialized in that area and you are at the right job position, there would be a better performance. You could provide more to the organization, and organization can also take more from you. Then continuous growth. Of course, now human resource is the most important asset of a company. For example, Tata has also the same material resources. You are also having the same material resources, but what is the difference? Only you can make difference in your human resource. If you have trained your human resource in such a manner and you have selected, you have done staffing properly, that is how you could grow more than and you can compete in this competitive market. Then optimum utilization of human resources. It prevents underutilization of personnel and higher labor costs. Of course, if you know how many number of people you need and what kind of people you need, and that could be only done through staffing. Then improves job satisfaction. It improves job satisfaction and morale of employee. Okay, when I say this, through objective assessment it could be done, and fair reward for the contribution, employees get job satisfaction. Staffing function has assumed greater importance these days. Now why importance function has more importance these days? Because of 2 reasons. Third is not given, I'm telling you. Advancement in technology has advanced, but if technology is also advanced, it has also increased the value of human resources, guys. Then increase in size of the organization. If the larger is the organization, more people are needed, more staffing is required to manage the whole organization in a better way. Then complicated behavior of human beings. Yeah, human beings are getting complicated with time. So we are done with this. Then staffing as a part of human resource management, HRM. Now we have to study about HRM. This much. Okay. Involves procuring, developing, maintaining, and appraising a competent and satisfied workforce to achieve the goals of the organization efficiently and effectively. Its purpose is to enable every human being working in the organization to make his best possible contribution. Now, whatever written is a very bookish language. In simple words, HRM is a bigger concept, and staffing is a part of HRM basically. And staffing is basically required in the small scale organizations, and HRM is required in larger scale organizations where everything is happening on a very big scale. Okay, okay. We do not have that diagram here, but basically, okay, I don't know if you guys can see it properly or not. This is HRM, and HRM is all of this, and this much is the part of stuff. HRM is only that much. Now, the other part of the chapter is process or staffing process, the most important topic of the entire chapter. You have to learn all these processes on your fingertips. If somebody is asking you, you are sleeping, get up and tell me staffing process, you'll be like manpower requirement, recruitment, selection, and everything. You have to say like this. Now the first is estimating manpower requirement. Now what does that mean? It means the first process of staffing is that you need to know how many people do you actually need in your organization. Okay. Making inventory of current human resources in terms of qualification, training and skills, assessing future human resource need of all departments, developing a program to provide the human resource. Job analysis is an intensive way of finding details required to all jobs. Okay, I don't know why I got this PDF online, but these are not notes. I mean, if a student is studying from this particular note, oh my god, they're gonna get confused, to be honest. But okay, I'm just using this to. Okay, leave it. Then, staffing process. See, we have to estimate manpower requirement to know number of people we need and types of people we need in our organization. Then, after assessing, we have three ways. First is workload analysis. This requires finding numbers and types of employees required to perform various jobs designed in the organizational structure. Okay, then the second type of analysis is workforce analysis. It means analyzing existing workforce or employees already occupying the job positions and how many of them are overburdened or underburdened. Okay, then we have to do comparison between workload analysis, basically how much people do we need, and also we need to study about the people who are already existing in the organization. Then we need to do a comparison between both of them, and then we need to find after seeing how many people are extra who are working in the organization, they need to be transferred or they need to be fired from the organization. And if there are less number of people, then how many people we need more. Okay, then recruitment. Recruitment, it refers to identification of the sources of manpower availability and making efforts to secure applicants for the various job positions in an organization. Recruitment is basically a positive process. It is nothing. It is just that if you have read in a newspaper that here in a particular organization there's a vacant job place and you can apply for it. So many people can recruit for that particular vacant job position. It is just giving and telling the organization, okay, I am ready, I can do job here. And then after that, it is all up to the organization if they think you are qualified or not. If you are a person who is okay for that job position, rest of the thing is about up to the organization. And organization always wants more and more recruitment, so they could have a lot of number of options to choose from, and they could choose the best talent out of the pool. Then selection. It is the process of choosing and appointing the right candidate for various jobs in an organization through various exam, tests, and interviews. Now, selection. Now, it is a negative process. Basically, there is a job and 20 people applied for that particular job. Now, of course, 20 of the 20 people cannot get the job. Maybe 4 or 5 people are selected for the job. So, it is a negative process because so many people have applied but only few are selected. Basically, either you're getting job or you're not getting job. So it is definitely a negative process because majority is not getting the job. Only minority is getting the job. But minorities should only get the job because they are only the ones who are qualified, who are expertised, and who are capable of doing that job. Only those people should be like the part of that. Then placement and orientation. When a new employee reports for duty, he is to be placed on the job for which he is best suited. That is placement. Placement is very important process. It can ensure right person for the right job. Basically, you have to place that employee or that person on the right job. That is placement. Placing a person in the right place is placement. Orientation. Now let's talk about orientation. Orientation or induction is concerned with the process of introducing a new employee to the organization. The new employees are familiarized with their unit, supervisors, and fellow employees. They are also to be informed about working hours, procedures for availing leave, medical facilities, history and geography of organization, and rules and regulations relating to the wages, etc. Orientation is basically now you enter the organization. Now what are you going to do it? The first process is that you will allow that person to meet and you will give the let the employee give the introduction about themselves to all the other employees existing in the organization so that that person can feel comfortable. They could get away of their shyness and the nervousness and they could work properly there and they could be more efficient after doing this. Now we have a fifth point or the fifth step of the staffing process, which is training and development. Systematic training helps in increasing the skills and knowledge of employees and doing their jobs through various methods. Development involves growth of an employee in all respects. It is the process by which the employees acquire skills and competence to do their present job and increase their capabilities for higher jobs in future. Okay, so training is very important for an organization as well as for an employee. Why? If training is done, that so basically the competence level of the employee is increased by training. Now, for example, you have a fresher. They have never worked in workforce area. They do not know what to do, how to do. So it is very important for everybody to get the training. Okay, and it is also very important for the employee because even if he's not suitable here, he left the job, his time does not get wasted because has got the training which is definitely going to help him in the future job hunting as well. Then performance appraisal. It is concerned with the rating or evaluating the performance of employees transfer. Basically, performance appraisal, like for example, if you're in your training period or you're in the beginning of your job period, all the superiors and all the other people or the managers and all, they evaluate that particular person if he is capable for the job, if he is actually adding some value to the organization, or if he is here just for being here, if he is actually needed or not. Okay, and there are some parameters or standards which are already which are given to the particular person that you have to do these things according to the standard so that your level could be greater and you could get more appreciation and you could be a fixed person in this organization. Then okay, here 2 points are not given. There are 2 more points in staffing process which I'm telling you. Promotion and career planning. Promotion refers to being placed at a higher position. Now you have got the job, for example. Now it is also very important that promotion, what is basically is meaning of promotion, that you'll be at a higher position, you'll get more salary, you'll be having more authority and responsibility. And then compensation is basically how much wages, salaries, stipend, or whatever you are going to get. It is based on time based or performance based. Time based means salary wages are paid on daily, monthly, weekly basis. Performance based is usually for the laborers, which is where your salary is decided according to the pieces or units produced by the employee. Okay, this much is done. Staffing process is very important. You need to study it very nicely. Then components or elements of staffing. 3 elements are there: recruitment, selection, and training. Okay, now recruitment, I have already told you, it is a positive process. More and more people should apply for a job so that the company or the organization can choose the best talent out of the pool. Now there are 2 sources of recruitment, external and internal. Let's talk about the internal one before. Under internal source of requirement, the vacant job positions are filled by attracting the existing employees of the organization. The vacant jobs positions are filled by using existing employees, and no outsiders are permitted in internal source. Now you are there in an organization. Either you can get promotion, you can be put on a higher level, or you can get a transfer. Like for example, if you today are working in Maharashtra, tomorrow you'll be working in good in what in Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so that is a transfer. But there are some advantages and disadvantages as well to it. Now let's talk about why it is very popular and common internal source, because it is economical, of course. Now if you're already using that person who is in your organization, he is very much familiar to all the people, they know about the rules and policies of the organization, so it is better. And there is no need to give training to them, or maybe if training is needed, it is not needed to that extensive level which would be given to a fresher. Then it motivates the existing employees. Yeah, the existing employees gets the motivation that okay, he was one of us and he got the position, or he got the opportunity to get in a higher position. Why not us? We should also work hard and get and snatch that opportunity. Then less amount is spent on training. I have already told you, the employees are already familiar with the rules and regulations of organization, so there are less chance of turnover. Is fine. It improves performance of employees, of course. To get promotion, employees show better performance, other employees show better performance. Then through transfer, surplus employees can be shifted to other departments. Then the limitation or demerits of internal recruitment: no fresh or new idea will come in the organization. Now if I am today here working here, tomorrow I am working somewhere else, I am a unique person, I have my unique ideas, I have everything unique. And if a fresher is introduced in the organization, he will bring something extra with him, because we all are having something extraordinary which other people do not have, and we all are extraordinary. So every new person will bring something new with them. But if you are not getting someone from outside, then you'll not be getting that. Then there will be limited choice. You have to choose from the people existing in the organization. Then employment may become lethargic. Employees may become lethargic when they are sure of time-bound promotion. Then frequent transfer may reduce the productivity of employee. Nobody likes frequent transfers, because shifting and all is a huge and daunting task. Then frequent, okay, not suitable for new organization. New organization do not have enough number of employees, and how can they choose from those? Or that is something which new organizations cannot do. They have to get the freshers only. Then spirit of competition among the employees may happen. There could be a conflict that why I was better, why I was better. That is a possibility. Then there are only 2 ways, which is transfer and promotion. You know what is transfer, you know what is promotion, that's it. Then external source of recruitment, when the candidates from outside the organizations are invited to fill the vacant job. It is known as external recruitment. In other words, when the organization meets its manpower requirement from outside the organization, then it is external recruitment. Sorry. Whenever a large number of job positions are vacant, then external recruitment is preferred. Now, if there are so many vacant jobs, then you cannot use the existing people always. Then at that time you need to use the external sources. Then let's talk about the advantages of external recruitment. Fresh talent, new talent with extraordinary skills would come. Okay, in wider choice, you're getting number of choices out of the whole world. You can choose people. Then qualified personnel, by using external recruitment, the management can get qualified and trained person. Then latest technological knowledge. Now, if you're hiring a younger person, they would be having more technological knowledge, or something new, they would be having something extra with them. Then competitive spirit, now it would generate a competition among the existing employees, that oh, someone from outside got the opportunity, even we could have got if we would have been working in a better way. Then demerits of external recruitment is the morale of existing employees goes down. Yeah, now both the things can happen. Either they can be happy, or they can also be like that, oh, why even we were there, why this external got this job. And if that negative attitude remains with the existing employees, it gets difficult for the new employee to work in the organization. The new employees may not adjust in the rules and regulations of the organization, which means more chance of turnovers. Now what it can happen, that the new person has came, he is not being able to adapt in the company, he is not able to understand the changes, and he's not able to basically soak into the company. Then he leave the company, then the money you have spent on training of that person, everything is going to get waste. It is expensive to invite the outsider to apply for the job. Companies have to bear heavy burden on advertising. Then lengthy process, external recruitment takes long time. Okay, then there are these 10 common methods of external recruitment. Direct recruitment. Okay, so for example, if you need someone for a lower job position, then you will stick a page outside your company, factory, or organization that we need this particular person, and all the people who need the job, they will apply for it. Okay, then casual callers, basically when people are coming in your organization for jobs and all, not all the people are selected. So the people who are not selected, their numbers and the details are kept, that in case in future we need, we can contact these people. Then advertising, which is a very common, you can advertise on billboards, newspaper, anyway. Then employment exchange, then government employment exchange acts as middleman between the job seekers and the organization who have vacant job positions. Okay, then placement agencies and management consultants, basically placement agencies are the like proper agencies where the job seekers go and they contact them. They take, it is basically a service where they are providing you with the job. They provide you with fascinating job offers, and if you are interested, you would tell them and they would contact the company that this is the person and they want to get the job. If he is suitable, he will get the job. Then campus recruitment, you all must be aware that students, the professionals from the company go to the campus of the colleges, and if they like the students or particular person, they hire them from directly there. Then recommendation from present employees, you can ask the present employees if they know there any family or friend or relative who is interested in doing this job and is qualified and competent for the job. They can definitely come and apply for the job. Then recommendation, okay, labor contracts, and these are basically also for the low standard jobs. Labor contracts, there is a contractor who is in contact with all the laborers. So if there is an emergency and we need so many laborers, we can contact a contractor. He will arrange many laborers, but this has a disadvantage that if contractor leaves the organization, all the laborers would also go with him, because they are working under the contractor and contractor is working under us. So if contractor goes, all the neighbors will also go. Then advertising on television is a very easy topic. You guys know everything about it. Then web publishing. Basically, web publishing is the ads we get. Oh, sorry. The ads we get on internet. See. Uh, okay. Sign up for Facebook. This is an advertisement. Then selection. We have not studied selection. Okay, sorry. Then selection. Selection, it is a negative process where we choose the most best and competent and talented people. Now there are steps. Now this is also very, very important topic, selection. The first step is preliminary screening. It is done to eliminate unqualified and misfit candidates based on information supplied in application form. Now all the people who are not qualified, they are misfit, they are rejected. That is preliminary screening. Then selection test. The organization prefer to conduct written tests to measure certain characteristics of individual. These characteristics range from aptitude to intelligence and personality. Now there are 5 kinds of tests which are done. First is intelligence test to see the IQ of the person. Aptitude test, it is a written test. Then personality test to know about their human behavior, their emotions, their reactions, the value system, everything is tested through the personality test. Then trait test, that the skills they already have, the existing skills they have, are they really good in that or not. Then interest test, basically here we try to know that what kind of job they are actually willing to do. So we could, if they are qualified and they are capable, then we provide them with that particular job. Then the third point is, now these 5 things were the part of selection test. The third point is employment interview. Then a panel of experts sit, then the person comes, their oral interview is taken, where of course knowledge is also tested, and something which is very important, the confidence and the communication skills can also be tested through this process. Then checking references and background. Now the person needs to give 2 references. 2 references basically means they need to give name of 2 people whom they know, so that they can call, and if the person is selected, they can know about the person, if he's okay, what if he's terrorist. Okay, I'm kidding, guys. Anyways, then selection decision. Now the selection decision is made by the panel, that if he's good enough, if everyone is agreeing, person is given a job. Medical examination, if he is physically fit or not, mentally fit or not, if his eyesight is okay or not, everything is tested there. Then job offer is given. Who clear the medical test, they are given job offer through letter of appointment. Given through letter of appointment. In the letter, date of joining, terms and conditions, etc. are given. Now contract of employment, when candidate, now job offer is basically, now we are offering them job. Now it is up to them if they want to accept or not. If they accept the contract of employment, then yeah, they get the job. Now the last topic, no, not the last, second last topic, which is training and development. Now training means equipping the employees with the required skill to perform the job. The candidates are sent for training so that they can perform the job in the expected manner. And development refers to overall growth of employee. It focuses on personal growth and successful employees development. Development is much wider in concept as compared to training, as training is only one part of the employment. Now what is the need for training and development? Definitely you guys know what is the need for training and development, because this is something which we have studied in the whole chapter. Systematic learning. A person who is trained, they would be having a proper set of knowledge, how to do, what to do, when to do, and where to do. Enhances employees' productivity. 100% a trained employee is more productive than an untrained employee. Then aptitude and attitude formation, and we and they can also be the future managers of the organization. Training equip the future manager who can take over in case of emergency. Then improves morals of employee. Training increases the morale of the employee and reduces the absenteeism and employees turnover. Helps to adapt changes. Now if they're given training before the joining the job, they get the overview of the job place. Okay. Then benefits to the employees. Even the benefits, employees have more benefit than the organization, I believe personally. Better career options, improved skills and knowledge due to training, brings better career options for employees. They earn more. Improvement in efficient performance and employees help employees to earn more. Boosting up the morale of employee, less chance of accidents. There are less chances that they will do something mistake. If they are already trained, then the chances of mistakes reduce significantly. The methods of training: on the job training, off the job training. We guys also have this. Oh, sorry, I forgot about it. Here we have studied internal source, external source of recruitment. Let's go down, guys. Selection process we have studied. We have to reach to training methods. On the job method or on the job training, it's the same thing. It refers to the method that apply to the workplace where the employee is actually working. It means if you're working in the workplace, of course you're getting some sort of experience, and that is only called training. Such that account method. Then there is these three are the part of it. Let me tell you about of the job training as well. Of the job training is basically you are sent somewhere else where you get the training. That's a proper training. Then there are three kinds of on the job training. Under apprenticeship training. This is basically done for the low standardized job for like plumber, electricians, such type of people is done. Under this, the training is placed under supervision of an expert person or called master worker who imparts him necessary skills and regulates his performance. The training is given stipend. Now while training, the money you get is called stipend. It is not salary, it is not wages. You get stipend, and stipend is usually a very less amount of money. It is, you can, from stipend you can only you can only use that money for your transportation, like nothing luxurious, so that she can enjoy while you learn skiing. Okay. Internship training. Under this method, an educational institute enters into agreement with industrial enterprises for providing practical knowledge. Here the company is using money to its students by sending them to business organizations for gaining practical experience. It is a very interesting part. Induction training is a type of training given to a new employee in settling down quickly into the job by becoming familiar with the people, the surroundings, the job, and the business. Duration of such type of training may be from a few hours to few days. It's interesting, guys. The induction provides a good opportunity to socialize and brief the newcomer with the company's overall strategy, performance standards, etc. If carefully done, it saves time and cost. These are three. They're not given off-job training. Oh god, this website, I'm not going to use it anymore. Sorry. Now, off-the-job training, we also have vestibule school. Now, if you guys can read it properly, please take a screenshot of this whole thing. I don't know if you are able to see it clearly or not. This. So basically, if for example you are learning to fly a plane, now you cannot be sent to airports directly, na. So a fake or dummy or duplicate school is prepared where you learn how to fly a plane. Means duplicate model of the organization. Okay. Employees learn their jobs on the equipment they will be using, but training is conducted away from actual work floor. Actual work environments are created in a classroom and employees use them. Materials, files, and equipment. This is usually done when employees are required to handle sophisticated machinery and equipments. Like a plane is a sophisticated machinery. Now I don't know if you guys were really helped with this video or not, but I enjoyed making this video. I hope you guys like it. At least I have to see my positions in the videos and all. If you like the video, please guys subscribe to my channel, like my video. I don't know, you have to do it. You have to do means you have to do it. Bye.